This is the Rawl of the Dead podcast with your host, Rawl of the Dead.
First of all, thanks for coming on the podcast, and I appreciate your friendship as well. We've been friends for a couple years, and we met at Fear Fair, I believe.
Yes, Fear Fair, okay. January 2023?
23 or is it 22? I feel like it was 22.
No, I think it was 2023. Where's my Fear Fair thing I have?
Because I don't think there was a Fear Fair, or maybe there was one last year. I don't remember.
Because I keep all of my vendor passes and stuff.
Yeah. I think I have them hanging right here on this little thing right here. But anyways, this is Alex. I'm Alex Cordova, who does magic oil aromatherapy. And when did you start this business?
So my business was definitely born out of the COVID-19 pandemic. I formed my LLC officially March 16th, 2021.
Okay. And it was born out of 2020?
Yes. It started in 2020, and I started selling only on Etsy. And then when I got serious and I formed my LLC in March, that's when I closed my Etsy and just did my own website.
Did you start it? Did it have anything to do with COVID? Are you starting this?
Part of it, yes. I work for a healthcare organization. I've worked there for 22 years. So when the pandemic hit, it was a pretty huge thing. And friends who was living with at the time, obviously they didn't work in healthcare. So, they were a little worried, which makes sense. So I made the decision to enter this state program that helped healthcare workers. So I actually lived in hotels for like 3 months during the COVID pandemic.
Oh, really?
So I had a lot of time in my hands, obviously, because we couldn't go anywhere, we couldn't go out, and I was living alone in this hotel room. So that's kind of where the idea of my business started.
Oh, wow. Okay. And you were in the hotel because you couldn't be back at home?
I mean, I could be at home, but understandably, they preferred that I would stay in my room because, I obviously didn't want to bring any germs from the hospital home.
I think people forget how serious it was when that happened, because I think we had a nurse at Fox that when she would come home, she would she would take off all her clothes. She had a bag that she kept with her.
Yep.
She'd take all the clothes in the garage out. She would change there, and I think she would wipe herself off before she even entered her house. Took off all her shoes and lift everything outside, and then she would disinfect everything and then wash everything. And she was doing that every day for months.
Yeah.
So I think people were really like not sure what was happening or what was going on. There was a lot of people that were panicking and thinking that, it's like almost like the zombie apocalypse. You know what I mean?
That's what it felt like.
It totally felt that way. And you come from the healthcare. What is that? What do you do as a full-time job?
So full-time, I work for a healthcare organization, and I am a manager. So at the time of the pandemic, my department, we actually, for our organization, we built the COVID testing in Ontario from the ground up. So, though I am non-clinical, I did my part, and I was out there helping them as much as I could. Like, my nurses were the ones doing the testing, where I would run samples from the drive-through to the lab. I would help with traffic control. I would help with everything I could do as a non-clinical person.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. I remember the drive-throughs. I think when I tested positive for the first time that I tested positive, I didn't think I had it.
Mm-hmm.
and my daughter had it, and she tested positive. So I went to the local clinic here in Covina, and they had tents outside. You weren't allowed to go
Yeah.
inside, so they had
Yeah.
the tents outside, and the doctor would come out and then give you the swab test, on your nose, and then they came
Yep.
back and said I was positive. I'm like, what? I don't really feel sick. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
at that point, I think I needed, if I didn't have it and she had it, I had to go to a hotel, which I didn't have money for a hotel. So I don't know what we were going to do at that point. Then he goes, well, at least the good thing is like, you don't have to get a hotel. You can just like have COVID together. I'm like, yeah, I guess so. And I couldn't go back to work for like 14 days.
Yeah, it was that serious. Like there were so many
Yeah.
restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
If you tested positive, you couldn't work for at least 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And so, all of that, I didn't want to bring anything home with me because at that point too, we discovered that the virus itself can live on your shoes for X amount of days or something. So
Yeah.
I chose to do this state-run program where they placed me as a healthcare worker somewhere to live temporarily. So that's
Yeah.
what I did, and it was very interesting living in a hotel by myself.
Yeah.
Couldn't go anywhere. So like I said, like I was watching Netflix and I was spending a lot of time thinking about my life at the time, about what I was happy with, what I was not happy with, whether it be career wise or even just personally. So
Yeah.
everyone at that point, people were doing a lot of side gigs because, some people lost their jobs. Some people couldn't go to
Yep.
work. So there was a lot of virtual, like Tupperware parties, virtual Pamper Chef parties.
Yep.
And these friends of mine were starting to do this as a side gig. So I thought about, well, if they're doing a side gig, like I can do a side gig. So that's kind of how the wheels started turning.
Yeah. And what was the first product you came out with?
So my very first product was my Sleepy blend. It was a blend that I was using personally on myself for a few years because I've been into aromatherapy for quite a long time at that point. I think 4 or 5 years,
Really?
and this was before I started my horror themed label. So being from the Inland Empire, when I was naming my products, I wanted to kind of represent that I was from the Inland Empire. So when I made my Sleepy blend, I spelled it Sleepie. So all of my products ended in IE.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah,
That's
so
really smart.
Sleepy, I did Sleepy, Wakey, and Relaxy. Yeah.
And this is something you were selling on Etsy only, correct?
Yeah, I was selling on Etsy, and at that time, I had a friend of mine who was using her Cricut to print my labels, and then she would dip them in like epoxy to seal it because the essential oils, like over time, would cause the label to fall off. And this is before I really honestly knew what I was doing.
Yeah. Hang on real quick. Yeah, my cat's getting the light here. She likes to play with it.
Yeah, so I put my cat and my roommate's cat in his bedroom. Don't tell him. Otherwise, my cat will be at my door crying. Poor baby.
I actually might have to do that if she continues. So for right now, she was just taking a nap, so it was like a perfect time to do the podcast. But I opened the window for her, so maybe she can get some air now. So right now, your business is just a side business still, correct? And is this something you want to do, continue growing and make it full time eventually?
So yes, right now technically it is still a side business because I work full time, at the healthcare organization. I work part time for a photo company as well, and then I do my
wow.
business. Yeah, so
What do you do at the photo company?
So I'm not sure if you heard of Pose Photos. They do the celebrity photos for a lot of shows like Creep IE, Days of the Dead, Midsummer Scream.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they're the photo company that actually does the photos with the fans and the celebrities. So because of my business, I kind of met them, and then I work for them part time here and there.
Oh wow, I never even knew this. I need to get some information from you.
Yeah, I
Because
know.
I do the same thing, and not for celebrities, but we do the photo op. Hang on, real quick.
Yeah.
All
So,
right,
like I
so
was saying,
hey,
part time as well for pose consulting celebrity photos. So, because that stuff is fun. My business is fun. Not to say that my full time job is not fun, but my passion is pretty much not really there anymore ever since the pandemic. And, I opened my business like
yeah,
this is my creative outlet now. So much has changed in my life when I opened my business, and it it's something that I would love to do full time. So I push hard, I work hard for it to continue to grow to where eventually, it would be nice if I could, leave my full time job or cut it down part time and do this full time.
yeah. And so are you making these yourself, or do you have help doing it?
So I would say the first 2 years, it was all just me.
Yeah,
Making everything. And even now, 90% of what I produce, I make myself. I run my website myself. I do all my shipping and fulfillment myself. I do all of my social media by myself. But organically, it's kind of turning into a family business, because I don't know if you've seen sometimes at my shows, I always have my family with me at the big
you
conventions.
do.
So my sisters, my nephews, sometimes my mom. So my younger sister, Tony, she has been helping me a lot more in this last year. She definitely is there for all the big shows with me, helping me sell and run the business. Um, but when I started making shower steamers, which are pretty labor intensive, it's me and her 50-50 making all the shower
Yeah,
steamers.
yeah. That's kind of a newer thing that you've added to your list of stuff that you sell.
Yeah, in 2024, I came out with a chemical free shower steamer because, like I could easily come out with another roller blend or a room spray, but I know that I need to continue to grow and expand. So it's like, I can't just keep doing a roller blend, a room spray.
Yeah,
I need to do something else, something that is more appealing to those that are kind of being introduced to aromatherapy.
yeah, yeah. Whoa. Hang on, real quick.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna have to take her to the room.
Okay.
Once I have the light on, like she likes to just tear it down. So,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I always
Cat
break it down now.
Cats
And
are
even if I put it up
so
high,
nosy. Yeah,
yeah, even if I put it up high, she's gonna come and get it no matter what.
they're so
Yeah. So we were.
nosy, and I'm still learning about cats as well.
Do you have a cat too?
I
Oh yeah.
do. I rescued him. We found him in the bushes at our apartment complex.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
How do you like being a cat? We're gonna talk cats now. How do you like being a cat? How do you like having a cat?
I I love it. I grew up with dogs, and obviously they're completely different animals, and I learn something new every day.
Yeah.
They can be very low maintenance, but they also can be very high maintenance because when you're trying to do stuff like this, they're they're
Yeah.
jumping on your laptop, they're messing with your lights.
And
So
the mic.
yeah.
Well, just a little while ago, she was chewing on the cord as well. So like,
Oh my gosh, yes, they love cords. That's crazy
yeah.
to me. I'm like, you're gonna electrocute yourself, and they don't care.
No, they don't care at all. Yeah, so I do like the shower steamer because I did photos. So for people who don't know, I do product photos for Alex as well, which is how
Hmm.
we met at Fear Fair, and he wanted products shot of his stuff, and I was like, yes, absolutely. I love shooting products. You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
one of my favorite things to do because I like to be creative with it. I could take my time. I love shooting models, of course, the portrait stuff,
Yeah.
and I could spend time doing that as well. But with the products, like I could really like dial things in
Hmm.
and really get creative. And that's kind of what I like. And I'm glad we met so we can give you some good photos. And you always post them, so I really appreciate that. You're always
Yeah.
posting the photos. Yeah,
No, like when I met you at Fear Fair, and my family and we did a group photo that very first time with you as well, and now I feel like it's tradition. Every time we see you,
yeah,
every time we have a photo up at a show, we do a group family photo, and I freaking love it. But, I met you there. I got your card. I started following you on social media. And then I saw all the work that you had been doing. I saw that you had done product photos for Back Six Bruja, for,
Yeah, I love her.
I think Lively Ghost was another one.
Yeah.
And I loved how your photos looked, because at that point when I was doing Fear Fair, that's when I had started converting into the horror label. So it just
Yeah.
it made perfect sense. And I'm the type of person where, I will pay extra for photos or something about my business to look just a little bit more elevated. And I was trying to do photos on my own and they were okay, but nothing compared to what you do. And that's why,
Oh,
like,
thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
you're my photo guy.
I appreciate that very much. Yeah, it was fun to do the that's kind of when I was first diving into the photo booth kind of experience at Fear Fair.
Yes.
I think that was just like my second one that I've done.
Oh wow.
But yeah, it's been a learning experience, and even to like where we just came off Creep It Real. I got it a little bit more dialed in now, and you still
Nice.
come by and take photo. We did a whole family shoot for you guys at Creep It Real, and that was really fun.
Yeah, I because when you told me you were gonna do like a Beetlejuice Christmas thing, I was like, "Hello, like that is our Christmas Creepmas card." So I asked, "Hey,
Yeah.
I will pay for a private session before it opens," and then and they came out great.
And you got your Beetle shirt there.
I do. So I'm kind of starting to do t-shirts. I'm slowly kind of getting into it because that's something new that I really, honestly, I don't know how to market yet or to really even display at my events. So I'm kind of slowly trying it out.
Yeah, it's I have a couple of shirt designs. I also have a Rawl of the Dead shirt. They're also available on my website, but I feel like nobody's really knows about it. I don't push it enough to sell.
Right. Same.
So I don't know how to tackle that side of like having to come out with a new design all the time, really push your stuff out there. I'm kind of more pushing my photography. So there's only so many things I can promote on myself, the podcast, my photography, all these other projects that I have going on top of the shirt. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to try to create another Raw of the Dead shirt that's got more of a zombie feel to it. Like that's got zombies in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's something I would like. It's something I would want to wear, and that's what I'm looking into. Like, would I wear this? And that's where I first have to start, like, figuring out the artwork. You know what I mean? It's like, would I wear this?
Yeah, I'm the same way with my stuff. Like, would I use this? And especially with the t-shirts, because it's something new. And I'm in the same boat where I promote everything else really well, but this is new, so I haven't really promoted it enough. So, but is this a shirt I would wear all the time? So I've actually been trying 2 different t-shirt vendors. This is one of them, and they did this design. I've got another vendor that I used, and that design is Beetlejuice as well, but it's more of a huge image in the center. So I think you have that one.
Yeah, I think I bought one for my girlfriend. I think I got her the shirt or the tank top. I can't remember.
So she actually has both designs because she bought this design online, and then you got her the other design at I think Creep, i.e. Aftermath.
Yeah, she loves it. She absolutely loves it.
I know, and I love her. Like, she's so supportive. She always likes my posts. She's always buying from me when she sees me, so I greatly appreciate it. She's so nice.
Yeah, she loves aromatherapy. For years, she's into it. So when I told her about it, I go, check out Alex's stuff. He's got all kinds. He's got the blends, the spray. So she used it also because she's a massage therapist. She uses the spray a lot for her sessions, and a lot of her clients love it.
Good. I love that. I love hearing stuff.
And she'll tell them your information to follow you, and you can get it through you as well. So that's awesome. really we're all helping each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Like, whenever you do photos for me, I use them. Like, why am I going to pay you to take photos if I'm not going to use them?
No,
And
exactly.
I post often, and when I do post, I make sure to tag you as well because obviously photo credit is yours. So
No, yeah. I mean, I think I've had a lot of people, brands that don't credit me sometimes. And I'm like,
that's
okay, well, sometimes it's understood for it. I won't not
yeah.
mention the company, but I
Hmm.
had understood that they weren't going to tag me in the beginning, but the model was going to go ahead and tag me for all future stuff. And as long as they posted it, I'm fine with it because I'm like, and then I can comment on it. It's like, hey, this was a fun shoot. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I've had other creators that's where I don't get it because we're collaborating on a project, and then that when they don't tag me, that feels a little bit weird because we're both in the same boat. We're both creating for each other,
Right.
and when they don't credit me, and it's understood that hey, this is a collaboration. We should both be tagging each other for this. And I always feel bad if I don't tag anybody. I look at the whole picture and go, okay, who do I know that did what? Mostly it's just the model, but if it's the brand, we'll tag the brand. If it's the backdrop, Kate's backdrop, I don't always tag them, but I do tag them quite often. And they like the post as well. So I'm trying to get in good with Kate's backdrop because they make amazing backdrops. And so all the backdrops that you've seen at my events are from Kate's backdrops, and
Oh,
they're
really? I
not
didn't know that.
they're not sponsored. Just so you know, I'm just giving them a shout out because they're the quality is amazing. I've had other ones where the quality just is not what it looks like in the picture.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you posting all your products because what you see is what you get on yours. You know what I mean? You see
Yeah.
that bottle, and when you hold it, it's like it's exactly what it looks like. And I love all the creative names you gave them all
Thank
for your
you.
brands. Now, how did that come about? Like, how do you name a certain blend?
To be honest, it actually came pretty easily. Because when I started my business, I knew I wanted to do some kind of pulp culture element into it at some point because I've always been a huge movie and TV and just pop culture person in general. So when I
Yeah,
first started, I was more of like just a holistic label trying things out. But I think it was around the time Scream 5 was going to come out, and I wanted to do a product just for it, and everything just clicked from that point on. And so I just converted everything to this horror themed label. And
yeah,
really, it's easy for me because one, these are the movies that I love. These are the movies I grew up with. I have a connection with, emotionally, spiritually with. And it was easy to match a movie character or theme to a product. The intention of the product matches the movie perfectly. So, for example, my Carry blend is all about focus because when you're telekinetic, you need to be able to focus your
yeah,
mind, your powers, your energy, everything. My my Nightmare on Elm Street blends. My energy blend is called Never Sleep Again. My dream blend, my sleep blend is Dream Warrior. So it
yeah.
all just comes naturally. And now, since I've been doing the horror label for so long, I always start with, okay, what is the intention of my product? What is it for? And which one of my favorite movies do I feel it connects with the most?
Yeah. And do you have any new ones that you're thinking about doing? Any new products coming out?
So I have a huge list of movies that I completely love, and whether I love for so many reasons.
Yeah.
So it's hard to try to make a product for everything. So for me, I kind of take my time and kind of organically, when the idea hits me, then I'll do it.
Yeah.
Like recently, I came out with two new shower steamers. One is themed from Agatha All Along, the Marvel TV show, because I loved it so much that I was like, I have to do something. So a shower steamer was perfect. And then the other one is themed after Edward Scissorhands, which is also one of my favorite movies.
Oh, I love that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Tim Burton. I love any kind of movie that's about someone that's weird, odd, strange, trying to fit in, trying to find out who they are, because that's the kind of stuff I identified with these movies. And it just so happens that, a lot of horror movies, that's what it's about.
I think that's why we all kind of like can relate to the horror movies, because I felt the same way growing up. I just didn't feel like I fit in anywhere. And I identified with like music, horror movies, anything that was kind of a little bit more out of the ordinary, where it's like you're like the weird one in the group. You know what I mean? And
right, exactly.
And that's kind of why I think that's why probably I liked horror to begin with in the very beginning. Where did you grow up at? Did you grow up here in California?
Yeah, so born and raised in Southern California. I was actually born in the city of Hawaiian Gardens. My mom and dad at the time were living in Norwalk. So we lived there until I was 5 years old. My dad got a new job because he was a truck driver. So we moved to this trucking town named Fontana. So
that's Fontana. Yeah.
That is where I grew up.
Oh, okay. How was it there growing up in because in Fontana, it's very maybe I don't know how old you are, but I remember going there in the 90s. It was a lot of land, and it's gotten a lot more filled. There's a lot more houses now.
Yeah, a lot more houses, a lot more commercial buildings, warehouses. Yeah.
Yeah, when I went there in the early 90s, because I had a girlfriend that lived out there, it was like there was not too much going on there. It was pretty much almost like a desert.
Yeah, we moved there when in 1987. I was 5 years old, and where we lived, it was already like residential. So I do remember going down Valley, driving down Valley with my family, and there was a lot of like land and open lots. But now everything's just full.
It's full, completely, yeah. So let's talk about some movies that you grew up with. Like we touched that a little bit on some of the movies that you put into your products. What's one of the earlier movies that you remember, that horror movie related, that you really loved in the beginning?
So one of my favorites, ultimate favorite classic, is Nightmare on Elm Street 1. I don't know why that movie stuck with me so much, but it still scares me to this day, and I could still watch it, even to this day, and it's still just so good. Like the special effects of the time, obviously all practical effects, so good. The story was so good, and I don't know if it had to do with me being LGBT or not, but I always loved the horror movies with the strong female character. So
same here though. So I've always identified with that for sure.
Right. So maybe just because it's the person you don't think is going to survive, but anyways, like I loved that character, Nancy Thompson. So it was a scary but fun movie. There are a lot of other ones that, because my mom used to work at a video store when I was young too. And I found my passion for movies because of my mom, because she would always bring random movies home for us to watch. And, she was like, I was like her, where I would see a VHS cover and I'm like, that looks cool, let's watch it. Another really weird movie is called The Kindred, and it came out, I think, late 80s, early 90s maybe, and I can't find it anywhere. And it was just this weird science fiction film about this man who comes home because his mother dies. She was a scientist. Come to find out, like, he has a twin who's like this deformed monster, and it was just so weird, but just so good. I love being scared. I love scary movies, and I scare easily. Like, I'm a jumper in the movies. I love going to Universal Studios Halloween nights, and it scares the crap out of me.
Yeah, I mean, I love going. I love going to them. I don't think I get scared because I think I'm just been so. I don't know. I've been around it for so long that I'm just
Yeah.
like, I'm more like I'm just enjoying it. I love when they pop out and they scare
Yeah.
you. And it's more of like, to me, it's like not, I don't really get scared. I get more like shocked. You know, I'm
Yeah.
more like, whoa,
No, I
I
get scared.
didn't know we were, where were they at? Dark Harbor. They got me a few times there. And I
Nice.
was really surprised. I was like, oh man, because I thought we were done. Like, oh, that's good. I almost got that. And then boom, somebody just hit me. I go, oh my God.
Yeah.
And Spooky was there with me. She saw, she's like, oh my God, they totally got, well, they made me go to the front the whole time.
Yeah.
Both times we went, but like, you're going first.
But
So
see,
I got,
I prefer that though, because
yeah,
if I'm going to pay to get scared, like I'm gonna get scared. So I like to be surprised when
yeah.
I go through the mazes. I hate having to be like in the middle of like 20, 30
Okay.
people.
Yeah.
You see and you hear the scares coming, and it's just not as fun.
No, I think that's and not throwing shade on Knott's, but that's the way Knott's is for me. Like there's just so many people that we're all crowded going through the maze, and you see all the stuff
Yeah.
going on in front of you, and by the time you get there, you don't get any of that. But I like the ones where you're alone for a few seconds, and that's where it's like that's the way Dark Harbor was. Like they spaced it out where it's like
Nice.
that my group in front of me are way ahead of me now, and like
Okay.
I'm the one leading the pack now. I'm like, why am I leading the pack again? Like that's crazy. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun. With movies, the same thing. I think the last movie I saw that was pretty frightening was Insidious,
Oh,
and I
I
saw
love
it at the
so
movie theater. Yeah, and
yes.
I haven't been
Yeah.
creeped out by a movie since. I mean, since I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like I liked Nightmare on Elm Street. That was one of my favorite movies as well. Halloween, Amityville Horror,
Oh, that's a good one.
Exorcist was my favorite. The Exorcist still scares me to this day.
Yeah.
But the Insidious was like probably the latest movie not latest. Insidious came out quite a while ago.
Yeah, but it's more of a modern horror movie, and that is definitely one of my favorite modern horror movies because it took the idea of a haunted house theme and completely turned it around. And it's like, it's not the house that they even say it like in the movie or the trailer, like it's not the house that's haunted, it's your son. And it's because he's this freaking astral projector and he's going into this dark realm of spirits, and it's just it's so good. So it's very scary. The music itself is scary.
Are you into the Terrifier movies?
To be honest, I have not seen any of them, and I don't know. I mean, I don't mind gore. I don't mind blood at all because I really do like the Saw movies. But I'm hearing that it's just like another level in regards to the Terrifier movies.
It is. I saw half of the first one. And I only didn't watch it because I always watch half movies, and then I forget to go back to and finish watching it.
Yeah,
that was definitely one that I was like, okay, see where this is going. And I'm the same way. I can deal with all the blood. I go, this is really interesting, but I was just feeling like the story wasn't, I think, driving me to want to go back because I almost kind of forgot what it was about in the beginning. So I think I'm just going to rewatch it. But we did watch the third one just recently. Just not. We didn't sit down and watch it. We were at a party, and they had it playing on the screen, and it was about 20 minutes of this. I think this is the part that they were showing. It's a good 20 minutes of just complete gore and just crazy stuff that's going on where it does not stop. It's one thing after the next. I'm like, oh my God. Okay, now I see why people were leaving the theater and like maybe throwing up. I mean, I know like it's all special effects, and I love the way they did it was really, really. I mean, it looked legit great.
Wow,
and it was done really well. But I see what people are talking about. I go, oh yeah, okay. So they took it to another level on the third one. So like if they come out with another one, I feel like how can you top the gore? Because I've grew up with watching gore movies. As a teenager, I watched Bloodsucking Freaks was almost the same thing. There was really no story to it. It was just like, let's just show you a bunch of torturing things to torture a human. and that's what the movie is. And it's got like a cult following on Bloodsucking Freaks,
Mm-hmm.
and but that's what we grew up with. You know, I mean, we kind of
Yeah.
used to watching all the gore and all the practical effects that go into it because it's really done like well. It's like, wow, that looks so good. Like the prosthetics, the makeup,
Mm-hmm.
all the blood that they used, and I was like, wow, that looks really cool. I mean, the way they did it though is it's just crazy. It's like, how do you come up with these ideas to
Yeah,
do the
like
choices?
same. Like, we grew up watching Critters, um, Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Mhm.
Like, and I love sci-fi too. So sci-fi horror, I love like
Yeah,
Alien,
same here.
Aliens,
I love
Terminator.
Alien.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. Do you? So I ask people this question on my podcast, but
Mhm.
do you have any ghost stories that's happened to you, or any type of, maybe even a UFO sighting or anything at all that you've experienced? Like any ghost stories that you might want to share?
No, there's not one. No.
No incidents at
People
any.
ask me that, but I don't think I've ever truly experienced any kind of ghost paranormal activity type thing. I do have dreams and nightmares sometimes about them,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I don't think there's ever been really something like, and I hear stories from like my mom, my family, like, this place that we went to was haunted, da da da. And a lot of times too, when family members pass on, some of my mom or like my sisters, um, they'll have an experience, but I personally have not.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I
Even
don't know if
someone
I would
that
want to.
you probably don't want to. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, right.
it's something that it just happens when it happens, and you don't know. You're not expecting it to
Yeah,
happen. And me and you, we've done so many of these cons that some of them are haunted as well, like
yeah.
the Kellogg House at Santa Ana.
Hmm.
That's it's a haunted place, and I went and did the ghost tour there. So they told the whole story of that whole house and how often
Nice.
ghosts are seen there, and it's pretty much almost a daily activity. And I was right there in the Kellogg House. I didn't experience anything other than some power outages, but I think that's because we were overpowering the the circuit there, and they had to move us to another
I mean, that's
part
what
of
you
the.
think, but sometimes
Yeah,
these specters like to mess with things, so you never
yeah,
know.
I know. And like we're all plugging in into the same. I know the power there is not the greatest either. So
Right.
I'm like, yeah. But other than that, have you done the other one, the other Heritage Museum in LA? You've done that one, right?
No, I haven't.
No.
I want to do it. I would love to get accepted into was it Spooky Swap Meet? I think that's the
Spooky
event that.
Swap Meet, and then also Jackie from Witches Brew does her Carnival de la Lune there.
Oh yeah, I mean, I do. I've done quite a few Witches Brew events, but I've not done one there at
Sort
the
of.
LA Heritage Museum.
Yeah, she'll switch it off for me to that one or the one in Santa Ana.
Yeah,
I've been to
I
both of
always
them.
do.
So.
I always do Santa Ana. I love that venue. I love I love that space in general.
I do too.
And one of my customers, she's the actual like ghost tour guide, like lead consultant there. Her name's Darcy, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Okay.
yeah,
I met her.
I love her. She is so nice. And just every time I've had an experience, a show at that place, like everyone's just so inviting and it's just so much fun. So I do so many events there now and I love it.
Yeah, I think she's the one I've asked, like, what other places here are haunted, and I think she
Oh
told
yeah,
me about another one that's kind
she
of more
knows.
further in the back. Yeah,
She's the
but
expert.
definitely the one there, the Kellogg House, has like a lot of activity there.
Oh yeah.
Out of all the cons that you've done, which one is your favorite that you've done?
So That's a hard question, Raul.
And I'll put it on the
Because
spot here. Wait,
I know.
you
Because
don't
before
want to flip anybody else.
I know, right? Because before I had my business, like my sisters and I, we were con goers. Like we loved going to conventions. You know, we did
Yeah.
Days of the Dead. We did Monster Palooza, Son of Monster Palooza. So, like as a customer, Monster Palooza was always high up there for us. But now that we're on the other side of it and we're vendors at these events, I would honestly, I think honestly, my favorite one is Creep by Econ. Not only because it's a lot of fun and I know all the vendors there now, I know the guys that run it. They're freaking awesome, but it's literally down the street from my apartment.
Oh, so that's
I don't.
convenient for you.
Yeah, it's extremely convenient. I don't have to pay for a hotel. I don't have to travel too far at all. Like it's just that one's my favorite, and I'm so happy it's so close.
Yeah, I think some of my favorite ones are Midsummer Scream and Monster is right up there as well. I didn't get to go to this last one of Monster because I think I was working an event.
You had some kind of photo shoot like at night or something.
Yeah, it was a video. It was a video shoot. So, and I felt bad because I think I haven't missed one since the year 3 of Monster.
Oh wow!
And then I remember when it was Son of Monster, and I went to all of those. So this is the first one I've actually missed.
Yeah,
but understandably, because there's October, there's just so much activity going on throughout the whole month, and especially for like me as a horror photographer. Getting all these yearly things that happen around October is like that's kind of the busy season, and then it dies out at the end of the year a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. So like once I opened my business and, for the first 2 years, like I was just hardcore doing any pop-up, any farmer's market I could get into. And when I finally had the opportunity to get into a bigger convention, like I already had a bucket list of the shows I wanted to get into. Monster Palooza, Son of Monster Palooza, Midsummer Scream. All of those were like on my list. Because Creep by Econ was probably maybe year 1, year 2 when I found out about it. So the following year is when I was like, oh, I got to get into that one because it's so close and I'm hearing such good things. So I am very, very grateful and very, very fortunate for every single show that has accepted my business. Especially those that were on like my bucket list. Like for me, like it was just such a huge accomplishment to get into the shows that I loved going as a customer.
Yeah, I think that's why I don't mind not getting into Monster Palooza because I want to save one con for myself that I can just attend. And I was telling somebody that I'm glad that you're at Monster because I feel like one of our own friends is there now, and we know that person.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Thank you.
That got into. Yeah, there's a big waiting list for to be a vendor on there, and you got in there like, yes, we know somebody now.
And you don't even know how many businesses have come up to me and were like, "How did you get in?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, I know we're all on this wait list." I said, but I didn't want the runner of the host of the show to ever forget that I want in badly. So, I emailed every 2-3 months and said, hey, Alex from the Magic Oil Box would love to get into your show. I know I'm on the waiting list. Thank you so much. Just if anything opens up, even last minute, just let me know. And what I started doing too is I was sending them your product photos. Like whenever I had professional photos done of me or my business, because honestly, it's almost like a portfolio for your business, So I wanted to show them and any other show that how serious I am about my business and about my products. So I share all those kinds of graphics and photos whenever I introduce myself by email.
That's a great idea because you know what? That's the fact that you were persistent and didn't just take no for an answer and just kept at it, not overly bugging them, but just
I didn't want to harass the person at all. Yeah. But so, because there were times where I'm like, you know what, I'm not even going to ask anymore. Like, I'm not going to get in. Like, it's just one of those shows where someone has to like leave or stop doing a business before I get in. And then it was Black Friday 2023. I got the email saying, hey, here's the link. If you would like a
Wow.
table, please pay. And I think that was the fastest. That I think I've never paid for a vendor table as fast as I did that day. Like it was like
You had to
boom.
jump on. Yeah.
Yeah,
You had to jump
I
on.
logged on, I paid, and the first thing I did was I texted both of my sisters, Marla and Tony, and I was like, "We're in. We got in." And they already knew what I was talking about. They didn't even have to ask, "What show? What are you talking about?" They knew because they know that's the one that we've been trying to get into and that we've loved going to as customers.
Yeah, I think I remember in the beginning trying to do the photo booth idea with them, and I would email them every year. Hey, I have this photo booth idea just to set up a cool backdrop or whatever.
Yeah,
And they set me up even in the hallway. Because I was already taking pictures there to begin with, but I didn't like to walk around. I wanted people to come to a certain area where it's kind of set up already, and you can and any cosplayer can come and get a photo where I could set up lights and make it look a lot better than just walking around into the showroom where they have those classroom lights, and you could bring a flash, but that's just a lot of work.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why don't we just set something up so people can just get photos done? I'll do it for free. Just get me anything. Just send me outside if you want.
Yeah.
But it was always the same answer. It's like, hey, we don't have any vendor space at all. I go, I'm not even asking to be a vendor. I just wanted somewhere, a space to do it at.
To set up.
And so that idea was lurking for a few years. When I finally presented it to Creep It Real, they jumped on it. And then my mission was to do this at Midsummer because that was one of my favorite conventions to go to. And I was like, man, if I could just get into Midsummer, like that would be like great. So I think I took a page from your playbook. I just would not bug them, but I would get introduced to, David, then Rick. And then I started kind of like giving them the idea. They were giving me feedback back as well. Nice. Pandemic happened. There was no events. So I was like, man, this is just like, I was so close.
Yeah.
And then when that happened and everything got shut down, they were about to put me on that 2020 Midsummer Scream. And then, so yeah, another couple of years went by and I finally saw Rick and I interviewed him for my YouTube channel. And he's like, I told him, I go, dude, I have this idea that I ran with David. And he's like, dude, just hit me. This sounds like a great idea. Why don't we talk after the new year and just please email me and I promise I will write you back. And he's been great ever since then. We've worked well together for the past 2-3 years now, since that time. And everybody seems to like it. And they put us in a great area in the book in the Hall of Shadows, which is great because we have all this space to work with. You know what I mean? It's just hard to find me. So I got to work on doing like a little better
wayfinding.
Yeah. I have some ideas. So
I love your whole photo booth idea. Like ever since, Fair, because a lot of these shows, as I've done them, they have some really cool photo ops just set up for you to take a photo with, but to have an actual professional photographer with professional lighting there to take a photo of you and whoever, like, I think it's a great idea, and I love doing your photo booths at every show that we go to. So I'm so happy that it's actually happening, and it's like a thing now. Oh, this show's happening. Is Rawl going to do a photo op? My family's asking. I'm like, yes, he is. So let's get our butts in gear and get there early, and let's go take some photos.
You get there early too.
I do. Because I don't like to interrupt you like when you're busy. You know what I mean? Because once those doors open, like things get crazy, things get hectic, and I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah. No, totally. That one. That's the big one. That's the one where I'm overwhelmed. Yeah. I'm overwhelmed. Oh, yeah. But I like it because it's not often. You know what I mean? So I'm getting used to it. But yeah. So what do you have? What do you have planned for the the coming year, now that we're at the end of the year here, what do you have planned for the next year? Cons, anything new you're coming out with?
Well, I am very fortunate as that 2024 was really good for my business. So I was able to already, pay for my tables for quite a few. Sorry, my eye. I was able to pay for quite a few vendor tables already. So I've got, of course, Creep IE happening in January, February.
Yeah.
I paid for V Neal's Vampire Weekend in Burbank. Monster Palooza is confirmed and paid for.
Nice.
I'm doing my very first Hellmouth Con, which is a Buffy themed convention that I'm extremely excited about.
Oh, wow.
Because I don't know, yeah, because I don't know if you know, but the name of my business, the Magic Oil Box, is actually in reference to the Buffy TV show.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So in season 5, Giles, he buys the magic box. So when I was thinking of naming my business and the things I loved, and Buffy being one of the favorite shows of all time, I just added oil. So he owns the magic box and I own the magic oil box. So my sister and I have some great ideas for some new products just for the Hellmouth Con, and Drusilla and Spike are already confirmed to be there. So I'm super, super excited for that. And Creep IE, they are posting so many actors from Lost Boys, which is, another favorite old movie, old, but classic movie of mine, that my sister and I was like, we need to do some Lost Boys themed products. So we're definitely going to do something for Creep IE. So that's something new that we're coming out with. We're going to test out at Hellmouth Con for people to build their own shower steamer pack. Because what I'm thinking is I want to do a shower steamer blend for my favorite characters. So Buffy, Drusilla, Darla, Angel, Spike, and people will sample them and build the pack of whatever ones they want.
That's a great idea. I can't wait. I can't wait to see this. That's gonna be awesome.
So, and I want to continue to grow and do new things, and shower steamers was a pretty big, scary thing to me because it's something I've never done before. And it took me a long time to get it right and to keep it chemical free. So I want to continue to try new things and do new things. So for sure, I'll be coming out with new shower steamer blends and of course room sprays and roller blends, but I haven't decided what new type of product I'm going to do for 2025. But once the inspiration hits, I'll let you know.
Yes, for sure. And I'm sure we'll see it on your socials. So give out your socials and your website. If you have a website, just give them out real quick.
So my website is themagicoilbox.com. My Instagram is at themagicoilboxllc. Same as my Facebook and TikTok is at themagicoilboxllc.
Cool. Well, there you go. Alex, I want to thank you for coming on and discussing. We've been friends for a while, and I really appreciate everything you do.
No problem. I support whatever, endeavors that you're doing. That's just the kind of person I am. I love the work that you do. I love the work that you do for my business. So I'm all about supporting each other and no gatekeeping. If I learn something, if I know something, I share the information. So, yeah.
That's awesome. I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. All right, guys, everybody follow Magic Oil Box. And thank you again, Alex, for coming on. And we'll talk to you guys later. Thank you, Alex.
Thanks. Bye. Thank you so much.